Welcome to China Focus. I'm Shelley Zhang. A taxi ride or an urban legend? That's the question after last week reports came out that Xi Jinping, the head of the Chinese Communist Party, took a taxi incognito in Beijing. Now, it was first carried by the paper Ta Kong Bao, which is a Hong Kong paper that has close ties with the party. However, after it was endorsed by Xinhua news agency, it was suddenly retracted and said to be a fake news story. Why all the controversy? Here today to talk about this, we have Jason Ma and Chen Zhifei. So I'm a little confused about the story. It seems that they were saying, okay, this taxi driver came out and had a personal story in this paper where he was saying, like, Xi Jinping came and took my taxi. I recognized him. You know, he even had something that Xi Jinping supposedly wrote, him a message but then they're saying it's not true.
Well, I think it is true, and my version, what I heard, the version of the story I heard runs like this. On March 1st, in somewhat late, at 7 p.m., early evening, the taxi cab driver named Guo, last name Guo Lixing, had a guest who recognized as someone having semblance to the current top leader in China. So he initiated the conversation this way, am I the first one who saw your semblance to President Xi Jinping? And Xi answered that, no, you're not, I am Xi. So he was shocked, and then they ran a trip from western part of Beijing to the government compound on the other side of the city, and as a way that is to show goodwill and generosity, she left several words as souvenir. The word says having a smooth trip, and the guy immediately put the words on the wall, framed, which is also a typical Chinese reaction. And this kind of incognito visit really sort of provoked the memories of emperors doing this kind of
A lot of people were comparing him to Qianlong, who was like a Qing Dynasty emperor famous for going out of the Forbidden City.
About the accuracy, veracity of the story, I think no one in China, as one I can testify for, who lived there for a long time, no one would have incentive to fake this, I think.
That's what I was wondering. Where did the story come from if it wasn't true?
Well, first of all, we have to kind of put this story in a big picture. I mean, right now, they take this picture it's happened not recently. It's happened
March 1st.
March 1st. So that's about a month ago. So basically, it's definitely at this moment is Da Kong Pao. They bring this incident out. They want to support what she recently said. She recently she's kind of saying something like all the official government officials should live a simple life. They should get closer to the people. So Da Kong Pao, they consider by bringing this old story out can really support what she is talking about. But I think later on, the Chinese kind of official media deny this. There is a reason behind it. The reason is the consequence is too huge to take this seriously. Because in China, if the top leader take taxi, all the other officials, they dare not take.
Well, he didn't say they have to all take taxis.
No, but that's the way people operate in China. I mean, if your boss taking taxi, you run on the Audi or
Shelley, let me ask a question. Did you see the hairstyle of all the political bureau members? Mm-hmm. The hairstyle?
The hairstyle? Yeah.
Do you think the same people did a haircut?
So they all have to have the same haircut, you're saying?
Same haircut, same colors of tie or something.
Right, there was like a controversy when somebody had a blue tie or something instead of the red tie that everybody else had.
Right. I guess definitely, I mean, this subtle thing is very important in China. I mean, if all the official media is showing Xi is taking taxi, indeed, that's a much order in China. Means every official should only take taxi.
So there goes all their private cars, you're saying? It's going to be a bad time for Audi in China?
Yeah, but it's kind of, because that's aligned with what she is saying, and along with that, I think from then on, if all the kind of CCTV or kind of Xinhua News, they all confirm this, which is equivalent to an order to.
Well, speaking of official assigned Audi cars, it suddenly occurred to me they have even stronger argument against publicizing Xi's incognito visit to the cab driver. Because what happened was last quarter, Chinese economy experienced a decline of GDP, and the government official had one reason for that. That is, the government purchase for luxury goods have declined.
Are you saying there's less consumption because of Xi Jinping's?
Right.
No, I don't kind of. It's not like that, but it's true. I'm not joking, and the last kind of this GDP growth really slowed down.
Right, unexpectedly slowed down.
And especially the kind of consuming kind of, and also this party kind of consumption.
But the overall consumption has gone up.
But I guess there is a clear indication it's close to what she is promoting of this simple lifestyle. Because I remember at the end of last year, December last year, there in the military, they have order like from now on, the military party shouldn't have the expensive wine and the liquor. And immediately the liquor company that produces the most expensive liquor in China, their stock at that day lost 5%, which is equivalent to $2 billion capital cap. So basic capital value. So basically, it's not a joke. It's a serious business. I mean, when the kind of Chinese leaders, officials are stop spending the kind of government money, and the economy hurt. And because they are the most kind of
so now everything makes sense to me,
right.
Because
is it just the economy
it's just the economy, it's just the personal perks, the luxuries, their special rights.
Well,
and then the people didn't want that, and of course they took a long time for them to figure out how to deal with Xi, because Xi set an example,
right?
Also to show people how to toe the mass line to be close to the masses. He did example and how to dissolve this, and people the lower ranked officials have to come up with a scheme. That is, okay, it's probably about your safety, about your security, but their true motive was, I don't want to lose my perk. I want my own car.
So you're saying that maybe they convinced Xi Jinping to take back the story.
Right. That's really kind of our interpretation about this whole thing. There's no any other logic explanation of this.
It was very strange because when the story first came out, it seemed like an ideal kind of propaganda piece to, like you said, go along with his, get close to the people, kind of, his like reputation and the image he's building and what he's saying about, like towing the line of the masses or whatever. But it just seemed like would he just suddenly like back off from that like that?
Yeah, I guess definitely he probably was persuaded like, we shouldn't really all follow what you say because there's a security issue, there's kind of instability issue in society. So definitely people around him persuaded him to don't do that again and don't order other officials to do it. And which is reasonable because in China, because the officials really are putting themselves at a higher level of ordinary people. If they are all taking taxi, that really creates a lot of chaos in China. I mean, all the kind of people, they don't really...
It would be harder to find a taxi in Beijing during rush hour, is what you're saying.
Since you noted that, actually I read, I think, somewhere a couple months ago, when Xi Jinping just took power, that he was very concerned about the difficulty of Beijing citizens to hail a cab. So this time he probably want to have some personal experience to figure out how to solve that problem. And it's all add up.
So you think there's definitely no way that this is a fake story?
No, I don't think it's a fake. It's just like probably the people surrounded Xi persuaded him to reconsider this act, and then Xi agreed. So the official line switched from promoting this to withdraw denying it.
Yeah.
It's very strange because who would dare do that? Like who would
Right,
dare
nobody
make
would
that up?
like Diet to do that, and this episode really serves like a tea leaf that they can read into, that it would be instructive in many sense to tell us how the country is governed, because that's always enigma, how such expansive land was governed. I think government under current regime has learned a lot from imperial China, the way the top leader conducted himself was very much like an emperor. He wanted to set a good example. Like in old days, the emperors would like to have an incognito visit in the countryside to find out how people are really faring. And also in old times, sometimes the emperor, I remember at least one emperor in Ming Dynasty deliberately put on a robe with all those holes to show he's really a very frugal person.
I guess this is another kind of different thing. Is the emperor do have a kind of authority. Their father kind of owned the country, so they do have the authority, and kind of nobody challenges that authority. They are kind of really in this awkward situation. On one hand, they don't have this inherited authority. On the other hand, they are not their power is not given by people. So those kind of very high top leaders, they are ruling China. I call that not by law, and not by inheritance. They are ruling China by campaign, by movement. So you can see Mao have a series of campaigns, and they use campaign to attack their enemy. They use campaign to prove people, and Xi unfortunately believed this. I mean, although he constantly saying we should kind of begin respecting law more and more, but still he started a lot of campaigns like get close to the kind of people, those kind of campaign. He still think this campaign can work. I don't think so.
So the campaigns you were talking about before, like Mao would be like 100 Flowers campaign or a cultural revolution, like these kinds of big things, but that seems pretty small, what Xi Jinping is saying.
Well, the government has been sort of forced into a corner. There wasn't much room for them to wage any wide-scale, large-scale campaigns. All they could do is to purify the so-called regime, the hierarchy, and so that they can elong their control. That's really a forced choice for them. So those sloganeering persisted only because they thought it's the only game in town. It's not that they thought it's effective. So they sounded
Give me an example of, I mean, it's kind of a foreign concept, I think, if to people who grew up in the West, or, these things that, like, towing the line of the masses, scientific development, harmonious society, like, what does it mean? Like,
I mean, basically every kind of leaders do have their own theory. Those slogans is the core of their theory. For example, who has this kind of harmonic society theory and scientific development theory, and Xi bring up this kind of close to the kind of masses, and so I guess they all somewhat kind of act like they are surprised about the corruption about their members, which is everyone should be surprised they are reaction.
But I think Shelley made a very good point. Sorry for interrupting, because I did see the ambitions of the sloganeering got more and more diminished. If you look at what you said, Jason, Jiang or Xi or Hu started out with scientific theory, harmonious society. It covers the whole society. Now Xi has taken many steps back. I'm not covering the whole society. I'm only concerned about how my party members are doing. You should be close to the masses. So their role, the function of those sloganeering is to remind people, the party members, they're just like nostrums. Whenever there are illnesses, you try whatever way you cure them. So what the Xi's point is, he had found out there were a lot of problems in China, and he thought they're mainly caused by the disparity between the party class and the common people. So he would seek out a solution by asking party members to get closer to the masses. But this won't work.
So how does that usually work? Like if you say...
Basically, right now he's have this kind of 8 rules. Basically, it's more like guide all the official commandments. So you shouldn't do this, the 8 things you shouldn't do. So something like that. And so he will release that as in the news. And so that every level of official will carry that. Okay, we make sure we don't do this in the past, in the upcoming 5 months. So everyone look at each other, make sure nobody is doing it. But gradually, because that's not a law, gradually people will lose out. Gradually we will fall back. That's the reason I'm calling this Chinese CCP is ruling China by campaign. So they have campaign. They reinforce it as a law-like things very strongly at the very first beginning, like 3 months, 4 months. But after 5 months, 6 months, gradually lose up and went back to the.
So it's like a mass movement to like do a certain thing, or
exactly. And indeed for the lower officials, they consider this is more kind of serious. as the law. And the law for them is nothing. But they really
and
consider
so
this
coming
as
back to the taxi cab driver thing, I think it's real, and she did have some design about it. Those are the reason why we saw the story was first leaked by Da Gongpao, which has close ties. Or
Well,
even
I was going to
some
ask why it wasn't official media, though.
Because
why wasn't
she found
state-run
that
media?
he, let's not bring up the emperor again. He found that he had a lot of constraint in exercising his power. He found out that he was doing sloganeering, but the people below him was not following the order. So he was forced out to set an example. See, I'm taking a taxi cab. Are you going to see the story in the public news from Hong Kong and mainland? You have to follow suit. That's his original purpose. This is definitely not a random event.
Is it significant that it was not like the official state-run media who first reported this?
My understanding is definitely different other people who share the power with Xi probably disagree with him, and they didn't really because the media was not directly controlled by Xi, and so that's the reason that was not released first from the Xinhua agent.
It's a really very good reflection of current state affairs in China. That is, if you want to do something good, if you're genuinely sincere about some reform, other people invested interests will pull out all the stoppers to stop it.
All right. Well, thank you both for joining us to talk about this issue. I didn't realize the taxi ride was kind of so fraught with like the political, extremes of China. Thanks for watching, and for more on this and other issues in China, join us at ntd.tv.